Hello everyone, Tina Spalding Trance Channel here today, not for our daily Course in Miracles lessons together, but to get Jesus to channel about the abortion issue that's coming up so vociferously in everyone's emotional guidance system. I think it's a subject that warrants his input, and if you are not yet a subscriber, please subscribe to this channel. There's always lots of good information coming through from Spirit. And check out my website, channelingjesus.com. I do lots of retreats and events, and you can find some interesting adventures that you might want to go on this year. So I am going to let Jesus come through and see what he has to say about this whole abortion issue. Hang on to your hats. It's probably not going to be what you think. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. And this drama that is playing out in your society now is intentionally being intentionally designed to manipulate you. What has happened in your society is that you have been given throughout your education, in various forms, in various ways, you have been given tender spots. You have been given indoctrination into certain beliefs and ideas that when the powers that be need to activate you into a severe negative response, they know how to do it because they have put those tender spots there. So what's happening here is a desire for negative energy. This is what is going on here, and unfortunately for most of you, you believe that your governments are freely elected bodies and that they have your best interests at heart. To be truthful, most of them don't. Most of them are not freely elected. A lot of them are put there because they are going to play a certain role. They seem to be elected freely in your elections, but a lot of these are manipulations and a lot of your elections are fixed. Many of you are beginning to catch on to this, but you're not quite so good at catching on to the emotional roller coaster games that are constantly being played with you. Do you not see that there is one thing after another that causes the population to rise up in anger, not in reality, not truly motivated to change society, but while you are on your computers or in front of your televisions on your couches, to bring forth out of you a strong negative rage response. This is happening all the time. Just look back over the last year of your news cycle and you will see one thing after another. Every few weeks there's something that gets everybody riled up. This is done intentionally because the powers that be know what your tender spots are. Now, many of you are going to say, well, but what do you think about abortion, Jesus? Well, I will tell you, but I'm telling you first what's being done to you, because you are like small children in that sense that you get upset if someone tries to take your toy from you. And some of these beliefs are more like toys. Many of you who we will say who are pro-choice never do anything to support that system. You don't volunteer at women's shelters. You do not donate money to that system. You want it there if you should happen to need it. But there really is not a dedicated practice supporting that system. And that system has to be supported for it to continue. So if you are a pro-choice person, it is important for you in this rage that's coming up in you to witness, what do I ever do to support this system other than make angry posts on my Facebook page? Is that the only thing I do? Then I really do not have any right to act with such indignity because I am not putting energy, money, time into supporting these things that I really believe in. This is one of the great manipulations of your social media systems. They have domesticated you so that you stay in your homes. They have intimidated you so that you don't want to march in the streets. And they have lured you into becoming addicted to social media as a way of acting socially responsible, but it's not a way of acting socially responsible. You are really not doing anything when you make an angry post. When you get enraged and post hatred or violent suggestions on your Facebook page, you are contributing to the energy of hatred. These anti-abortion bills are designed to generate a hate response in you and for that hatred to continue to destabilize your society. It's intentional. But unfortunately, many of you are not aware of this. You are trained, you are domesticated, you are led down the garden path, and whenever they want to push your buttons, they push your buttons and you leap through the ceiling. This is the emotional volatility of the ego mind. It is not spiritual in that sense. If you are a wise spiritual practitioner doing your forgiveness work, you will understand that the rage that comes up in you regarding this subject is unloving in that sense. Now, many of you will say that you are blaming the victim here, Jesus. You need to tell these people off that are making these laws. They are making these laws they know exactly what they're doing. You are far too gullible in your society now, and you have become innocents in that sense, like little children being tricked by a puppet show. That is all that's going on with your politics. What we want you to do as wise and smart beings is to invest in what you believe in. If this subject is so important to you, then invest your time and effort in money locally into shifting and changing the frequency around this particular subject. Are you, for example, donating to food banks to assist unwed mothers who have these children that have not been aborted? That would be a loving thing to do. Are you volunteering to walk people through crowds going into abortion centers? Are you doing anything like that? If you are just sitting on your couch posting pictures of things that make you angry, you are doing yourself a disservice and you are not helping your community and you are not helping your society. It is only through the training of mind into a more loving frequency, and that includes more loving thoughts towards these beings who are making these laws. It includes more loving thoughts to people who have kept their children because they need help. This is one of the reasons why the abortion issue is such a volatile one, because the society is so uncaring, unloving, and unforgiving about helping people who keep their children that they have no choice but to go and get an abortion because they know that nobody will help them. So if you are pro-choice, we challenge you to help people who have kept their children, because it is those people that have kept their children in an effort to be loving, in an effort not to have to go through that traumatic procedure, that are in fact sowing the seeds of love. When a person goes to have an abortion, it is not what they want. It is a most traumatic and devastating event for many women. We see the frequency results of these operations, and women can be traumatized for life by these experiences. We want you to be truly pro-choice, not just pro-choice for what you think that should be available, but pro-choice for the beings that keep their children as well. Now, when does life enter the body? Well, the body is generated by spirit. Spirit is the generator of the body. The body is not the generator of spirit. So most of you have that whole thing turned upside down. When a spirit wants to manufacture a body to come in to have a life experience, they have the opportunity to choose several different parents. They do not always stick with their original choice. Sometimes they may choose a set of parents or an individual single mother to come in and have an experience, and they may decide partway through and sometimes early on in that process not to continue on with inhabiting that body. Spirit inhabits the body. The body does not manufacture spirit, and this is where your religious arguments fall down, because they are back to front. it is as if a soul is being destroyed when a body is destroyed. No. If a young soldier gets killed in war, his soul is not destroyed, but it is another demonstration of your unloving society. We want you to truly understand this, that a spirit will come into a body if it feels as if it can handle it. And there are many times, and that can occur through miscarriage, it can occur through stillbirth, and it can occur through the influence of the unborn spirit on the mother, where the child is saying, this is not the correct thing for you to do, and we suggest termination because there is not an appropriate being to come into your body at this time, given the circumstances in which you find yourself. Now, many of you are going to say that can't be true. Spirit would never do that. Well, spirit is not beholden to the body. Your body depends on spirit. The spirit does not depend on the body. Spirit can live without a body and have many, many experiences, as I am having now. I no longer have a body. I can manufacture a body if I wish to come down into your frequency, which I do once in a while. I don't do it very often anymore. I'm much more likely to do it through this kind of communication. But I can manufacture a body anytime I want to. Body is easy. And so it is your obsession with materialism. It is your obsession with the physical. It is this that will drive you to believe that abortion is killing a soul. It is not killing a soul. That soul has either decided to back out of this arrangement, or the mother, feeling completely deprived of care and love from her family, friends, and society, feels that she cannot go through with bringing another being into this world. We think that you should all be looking at the unloving nature of your society that requires such a violent act to be allowed and precipitated. However, we will add this before we go, that in a society as unloving and as uncaring as yours, yes, we are speaking to all of you who have lots of money in your bank account, a home or two. Are you helping the poor? Are you helping those single mums in your neighborhood? Are you being generous with your assets or not? Most of you are not. Most of you have been trained in this capitalist society to hoard it all for yourselves. So we don't want you to focus on these lawmakers. We want you to focus on the fact that your society is unloving and requires such a violent option for people. That is truly the issue that you need to look at. You rise up in anger off your couches and your desk office chairs and say this is unacceptable, but it is the society's refusal to share in the communal raising of children and providing kind and generous homes and places to live for these single mums that generates this need for abortion. We would prefer that you raise up your voices and fight for a compassionate society. We would rather that you raise up your voices and stand fists in the air saying, we must look after our children. We must not be neglecting our children. We must spend the money that is required to give them a solid foundation. We must develop programs that take them into the country and give them opportunities to spend in nature. We must spend the money to allow our children to be creative and have somewhere safe to go if they are in danger. This is what we would like to see you getting upset about. Not the right to kill an unborn child because it is inconvenient or the society is so brutal that it refuses to look after those beings. That is what we would like you to see. Now, some of you would say, well, Jesus would never say that. Well, for those of you that have been following this being and for those of you that have read some of the books that this being has penned, you will see that I am not quite the, we will say, namby-pamby that you think. I am here to assist you in the awakening of your planet. We want you to use that passion that you are feeling now. We want you to use that to step out of your home and give somebody a call in your neighborhood, in your community, and say, how can I help single mums? How can I help women who are struggling with recent abortions? Is there some way I can contribute? This would be the kind thing to do. And in your rage, focus your energy on improving your society, not just sitting there criticizing it. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will see you again soon.